again, everybody, feel free to join in the chat if you want, or just enjoy it listening in. I'm enjoying this. So, uh, question is, why is it important to speak out even if you get in trouble? So this is actually from a family member of mine. Um, and it'll be quite almost it'll be I think it'll be quite funny for you to hear what the reason or what he's scared of is. But let's talk about it in general, and then I'll give you his specific example. So why is it important to speak out? So there's so many things we need to speak out about. That's what Speaker's Corner is about, and in way in talking about the truth. And a lot of your videos are about just saying what is important, not being scared to say those things. And so here's a bit of logic, I think. So all good things depend on good ideas. So speaking is not just words, they're not pointless things. We do bad things because of bad ideas. Hitler said bad things and the whole country did bad things, for example, right? And everything starts by clarifying what it is that you believe. That's why all these religious teachings are in sort of writing. They're put in writing, and they're not just pointless books. They're books of very important ideas. For example, the Quran and Prophet Muhammad was one of the first people who said we're equal. That's a really important idea. Stop racism. So good, good, good deeds start with good ideas. So that's why one reason why words are very important. And this is another thing that will surprise people. Good can only be defined by God, right? So this is not really a religious idea. Psychologists and many sociologists have realized that it's actually really hard to define what is good. Say you kill somebody. Is it bad? Well, in a war, it might not be, especially if he's about to stab you, for example. It gets very, very complicated. Okay. And it has to be based on something. And so there was somebody called Nietzsche, and he said, and he predicted the millions of deaths in the Second World War because of atheism. Okay, when you stop believing in God, there is no moral ground, because it's very hard to develop all the rules. It's basically impossible. All the laws of this country are essentially founded originally on Christian teachings. Yeah, so I'm trying to explain it briefly, but it's basically impossible to define good without God. Okay, so only something in line with the truth, that is capital T truth, as in teachings of God, are worth spreading. So it's kind of like a path that I'm trying to define. Like, you need good ideas to do good action, but what are good ideas? They can only really be based on God. And if you're in doubt about it, listen to the teachings of the Quran or Christianity and all these different religions. They're all about doing good things for each other, like being neighborly. Be unto yourself as you, what was you're better at me than the Bible than I am. So do unto yourself as you like for others, right? Is that how you say it?
The truth will set you free.
That as well. That's a really good one as well. Yeah. So the truth, that is so relevant what you said. The truth has so much value. The truth are ideas that can set you free. And without those ideas, we make ourselves miserable. That's what we're doing on this show. Like, we make our lives difficult, not because of the things we don't have, but because of the wrong ideas we have in our heads. And so that's the truth, capital T, is the ultimate truth, the perfect truth, that we have to remember how stupid we are and how much we need God's help. So that's why the truth, capital T, as in everybody knows capital T, truth means truth from God or teaching from God, right? Okay, so that's why that is so important. And not spreading the truth, okay, is acting as if God doesn't exist. So these are for people who are already religious but don't know the value of spreading that truth. and taking the risk for spreading the truth. So let me just give a bit of background. This is one of my relatives. He came to me and he said he can't come on this show. It's ridiculous. You might be laughing, but he can't come on the show because he's worried about his parents who are also religious. It kind of, I don't know if that even makes any sense. He's a Muslim, but he's scared of his relatives to talk about Islam on a show. I it's so strange, but I think it'd be good for him to watch this and see how silly it sounds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we've got to forgive him and perhaps put ourselves in his shoes. There could be other things going on in his life, and you know, we can't be sure what's going on there. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the truth has always been there. It's with us now, and it always will be. It's just a question of whether you're prepared to connect up to it. I mean, you don't have to believe in anything. You don't have to believe in any book, except, do you believe in the Creator? That's a place to start. With the Creator.
Yeah.
Does it exist? And we can both, well, you can quote many examples to prove that a creator does exist. And so can I.
And so whether you believe in a God or not, if you don't act as if you believe in God, that's quite just the same as not believing in God. What I mean by that is, if I say, here's some water, and you're incredibly thirsty and you don't go for that water, that proves you don't believe in that water being there, even if it's in front of you. So if you don't act in a way, for example, tell people there's this amazing teaching that can change your life and change your own life, and this is from God, if you don't do that, you're acting as if God doesn't exist. And if you don't if you don't act, go on.
We are simply asking people to connect up to the substance that has always been there, and within that substance there is intelligence. We all have intelligence within us. So there's proof that there's a substance. What is that substance? It's the Creator. And without intelligence, we wouldn't be able to function. We wouldn't be able to operate. We'd be like animals. We'd still be animals living in caves. But we've been given this special, unique opportunity to do something special that no other creature has ever had. And that's the opportunity to progress, to improve our intelligence, to growth.
Brilliant. And what is the source of that intelligence? God's teachings.
Absolutely.
It's so amazing. Such an amazing opportunity that the rest of the animals don't get to partake in. So we should take that opportunity. Otherwise, we're not really living life. We're just going to work. And especially if you're fearful of things, you're not really living. And so the other thing I wanted to throw in, which is at the bottom of this kind of little bit of text that I put down there, is this idea: if you're not living as if God exists, then you're going to suffer from the same problem that atheists are suffering from today. Okay. And that is something in summarized called nihilism, which is this: nothing matters, everything is random, and it's very depressing. And psychologists have said that if you want to be happy, you have to have meaning in your life. So you cannot have nihilism, which is everything is random, and you add meaning at the same time. They are opposites, because meaning is basically a sort of pattern. It says this happens, therefore I should do this. But if everything is random, there is no pattern, there's no point, there's no nothing. So they are opposite.
If we think consciousness is random and it isn't connected to anything, then it's hardly surprising that people are atheists. Me personally, I don't believe there is such a thing as an atheist. A number of my close friends who told me that they were atheists, and I was with them right till the very end, asked me a very important question: Simon, do you really believe there's a God? I said, Well, brother, you're about to find out. So I think it's time you made your peace with your creator. And they did.
Wow. 100%. And they've actually done a scientific experiment to prove, like I briefly mentioned it, but now you reminded me, they've actually done a scientific experiment to prove there's no such thing as an atheist, because they asked atheists, they connected atheists to some wires that measured their, stress levels. And they asked the atheists to say something bad about God, or tell God to do bad things to somebody they loved, and their stress levels went up. Why would that happen if they didn't
Well,
believe in God?
we know a number of atheists at Speaker's Corner, and
Yeah,
they believe they're atheists. And we were talking to an atheist at the weekend, lovely person, Lester.
yeah,
And I asked him a question, and it was amazing that he went to the Bible to make a reference in relation to a miracle. We were asking him, what is his definition of a miracle? And he went straight to Jesus walking on the water. So subconsciously, it's there, this
mm,
desire to want to be connected to the Creator. But there's just something, there's some seed of doubt there in their mind that they just cannot connect with. They need something. They need some experience or some sign from somewhere. Like I've had in my life, I've had a number of signs to say, hey, this is the way you should be going. But can you read those signs? Are you able to read the signs?
yeah. It's so hilarious. I mean, I remember I had a student who he knew I was religious, so he liked to be rude about God in my lessons. Then I said to him, everybody gets signs that God exists. Every God gives everybody a chance. Okay. And he said, you know what? I admit it. And then after that, because he told me of a sign, he's only a kid. The Duke of Edinburgh Award. Do you know that thing?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So he was on one of those, and he was doing when you have to use your compass to find your way around. I forgot what that's called.
Orienteering, yeah.
Orienteering. So he was lost, and he's only a
Yeah,
kid, and he was in the
yeah.
middle of a forest. And being a kid, he was really scared. And he said, "This is what he told me." And he considered himself an atheist. He said, "I don't know who you are, God. Which you're God of Buddha, God of Christianity, God of Islam, but can you help me? Because I'm really scared." And
Amazing.
next second, a man taps him on the shoulder, says, "Go that way."
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
it.
I,
And
I,
I
I
don't
totally
think
believe.
he
I totally believe it.
after that I don't think he ever insulted God in front of me, because he kind of admitted
Amazing,
that. Yeah.
amazing, amazing.
So people have the signs, but people, do they notice the signs or admit to the signs? That's up to them and between them and God. God gives everybody a chance. So anyway, last thing, another question.